listening to Around Comics. 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 You're listening to Around Comics.
On the air.
We are recording audio as well, so we are, here we go.
All right.
What the hell are we talking about?
Well, we got to do the intro, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Since we
Come
were
on.
doing live video, I kind of screwed that up.
No one's ever, unless you were at Dark Tower, you've never seen the intro.
Oh, it's something to see. It's, you know. All right. Do I need to count you in live on video?
You have to count me down. Hold on.
Oh, he had to take a swig of beer.
All right.
In 3, 2.
From Chicago, this is Around Comics, the comic culture podcast, where every once in a while we talk about everything in and around the world of comics and comics culture. I'm your host, Christopher Niesman, and I am joined, as always, by my partner in crime, Mr. Brian Salazar.
What's up, buddy? How are you doing in this quarantine?
Pretty well. Yeah, exceptionally well.
Exceptionally well. All right.
Yeah. We're settled in, stocked up on groceries, got lots of toilet paper. It's all good.
Hoarding toilet paper?
We are hoarding No, we are not hoarding toilet paper, but no, we are. We're in good shape. It's Milwaukee has been pretty chill. Took to the stay in place request pretty good, and it's the weird thing is not going out for like days at a time. You know, even though like old nerds like us, it's, you know, if you had told us, you know, at some point in our life you're going to have to stay at home and like read for days on end, we've been like, sweet.
Yeah. No,
So, that's a nice thing.
I feel almost like a slacker because I'm not really doing anything productive with this time off. I've sat there and gone, oh, if I only had some free time, because I've been so busy for the last 30 years, I'm like, if I only had some free time, I could really, you know, get something done. But no, I'm really being, I don't know, just lazy. I'm not really doing. I'm watching. I
figured you would be at least halfway done with the Great American Novel by this point.
No, I did. Funny enough, I have started writing something, but I don't know.
I figured.
Here's the weird thing. Normally, I have so many ideas for stuff that I can't ever focus on one thing. And now when I actually have time to do something, nothing's coming. I'm like, well, think of something to write. Think of a story. Nothing. I got nothing. So yeah, that's just, my brain likes to fuck with me, so why not?
Yeah, it's okay. I'm playing a little video games. You know, I actually am lucky enough, both the wife and I are both lucky enough that we're able to work from home. So during the day, mostly working, but it's been nice to be able to play some video games and read a little bit and just kind of chill out. It's it's exactly what it sounds like. It's very privileged. But we're very lucky that we're able to work from home and not have a lot of the immediate worries that a lot of other folks, especially comic book creators, man, that's something that we've got a lot of friends in the industry that I know that they're comic book creators are always in a state of distress, like mildly, and now it's just like times 100. So.
Yeah, but it's definitely,
and they're used to working at home alone. So,
well, that was the thing I told my wife. I'm like, well, our years of self isolation, just because we're basically antisocial, are finally paying off now. This is no change. This is what we do every weekend: is just kind of sit in and watch TV and do nothing and have our kids drive us insane.
But you don't like me.
I do like people, but I can only take so much of people. At some point, I have to just shelter away. I have basically a shelter in place standing order on myself 6 days out of the week anyway. So unless I'm trying to choke someone unconscious, that's the only time.
Just choke someone out.
That's my only interaction with human beings anymore, is them trying to
choking them out,
and then me trying to choke them. That's I haven't gotten a haircut, as you can see. I'm it's getting a little
haircut every day, baby.
Free haircut every day.
Every day, whether I need it or not.
So we should say welcome to anyone that's watching us. We are live. I don't know if there's anyone watching us or not. I don't. This is sort of a new thing. We've never done a live.
One guy in Venezuela, probably.
One dude out there. Yeah. I have no idea. But I think we can do like polls and questions and stuff on the.
Sweet.
It's on Facebook, because we were trying to set up the YouTube, but I didn't quite have that figured out. So it's right now we're on Facebook Live. So hopefully,
this is our coronavirus special.
Well, we got to do something. We did notice it was interesting, because I'm doing another podcast with a friend, MMA podcast, and I've been going into the account looking up stuff for that show. And I noticed, as I logged in, I'm like, there's a huge spike in downloads for Around Comics. Because we still, even
it's some time on their hands. Man.
Yeah. So there was some free time, and people have been downloading old episodes and listening. So let's give them something new. Here we go, a little something to spend the time.
Once you anyone new to the show, welcome. We'd love to hear from you. Sal, how can they contact us?
I don't even know. info@aroundcomics.com.
There you go.
Yeah, we are on Twitter, obviously, Around Comics, on Instagram @AroundComics. We're on Facebook.com/AroundComicsPodcast. I think the old one, which was Around Comics, is still up and running, but I don't have access to it anymore. So nobody's going to answer you there.
That's funny.
Yeah. You can obviously get a hold of us and send us emails. And I don't think I have any emails. Nobody's sent us an email in a long time. We've been lonely on an island for a while.
Yeah, well, hopefully that'll change.
I don't like the lighting. I don't like my lighting. I look kind of pale, but
your lighting is way fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. It's way better than
my
mine.
Dark basement.
I've got with your blurred background.
Well, that's only for you. Everybody else can see my basement.
Oh, okay.
My fireplace.
All right. Well, I've got half of the geek room here. Let's talk some comics or comic related stuff.
Oh boy.
What have you been reading, watching, listening to, enjoying during your quarantine?
Nothing. No. A lot of Ultimate Fighter. I've been watching a lot. No, I have been reading some comics. I'm trying to think of what I've been reading. Let's see here. I've just pulled up my iPad so I can look and see some of the stuff. Before we get to that, I do want to talk to you about something that I've been watching. Stumptown.
Okay.
Have you been watching Stumptown on ABC?
Oh yeah, dude.
I figured. That
come
was
on.
a loaded question. That was
come on.
I really enjoy it. I was surprised how much I enjoy it.
It's a good
I love
PI show.
Yeah. For those, it's based on a Greg Rucka, a couple of series, right? Limited series, 3. I think there was 3 limited series.
Yeah, I think. Mm-hmm.
And
Matt Hollingsworth, the artist.
He did one, I think, but I don't think he did all 3.
Okay, I know he's credited.
Sorry for whoever the artists are. We know you're touchy about that. Actually, I have it here. I could look it up right here. Wait a minute, so we don't fuck anybody over there.
Yeah, I believe it's Matt Hollingsworth. It's I remember talking to Mr. Rucka about that years ago. He had Stumptown, I think, as a back burner project for a while. Something, he's like a lot of writers that he's got 15 different ideas and projects, kind of in notebooks and whatnot. And he was just talking about his love of like just good PI shows. Like he said one of his favorite shows of all time is Magnum PI, and there's a lot of Magnum PI in Stumptown.
Sure. Yeah, it's Matthew Southworth is the
That's what it is.
Not Matthew.
Sorry.
Hollingsworth. Yeah. But yeah, I think they cast it really well. I think Colby Smulders, who's the actress who plays the main character, Dex, something like that. Dex. She's great. She's from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She was, or not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. What the hell was she in? Yeah, Agent, right? Was she?
Was she?
I don't know what she was. One of the agents. Colby, yeah, she was.
Okay, was she an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
She was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. In the movies, I think. But she's great as Dex as that character. No, am I wrong?
She played Maria. What's her nuts?
What? Maria, what's her nuts? I think
the
right hand woman,
the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent that took over from her. Yeah, Maria Hill.
We're doing a great job of this so far. Yes,
I know.
I think
you're on it. Yeah, she played Maria Hill.
Yes, I think you're correct.
But she's awesome in this role. I think it's really
a fun role for her because the character, like many of Greg's really wonderfully written female characters, are not perfect. She's a very flawed character. And
the strong, flawed female lead.
Yeah, I mean it's one of his.
Anna Ruckaba.
It's big shock. But she plays it great. She's just a likable character, even when she's sort of being, not her best. But the supporting cast is really good too. I've really enjoyed like 1.5 seasons so far that I've kind of burned through, and it's sort of like my little guilty happy place I go sometimes at late at night when I'm just like, oh, what do I want to watch? I don't really want to get into anything too serious. Oh yeah, I'll turn on an episode of Stumptown, and it'll always inevitably make me smile and laugh and maybe even like feel some emotions. What were you gonna say?
And it's just it's a good, well produced PI show, which is nice. It's better than my wife's guilty pleasure, which is Below Deck.
I don't know that. What is that? That sounds like a cruise ship. Is it like Love Boat?
It is. It's about the staff that run these charter yachts and the people on them. It's basically about horrible people treating other horrible people horribly. It's kind of the worst.
Have you seen that terrible HBO show Avenue 5? It's really good premise.
I got through half an episode, and I'm just like, I don't have the bandwidth to try and like this right now. Maybe I'll come back to it.
Nah, you don't need to. Right? It's not very good. Yeah, it's Hugh Laurie. He plays like the captain of this interstellar cruise ship that runs into problems in space and is kind of fucked. And instead of like a 2-month journey, it turns into like a 6-year journey. It was a
3-hour tour.
Yeah, it's like Gilligan's Island, but it's a giant space cruise ship. And it has moments
being stranded. Yeah,
it has a great cast, but I don't know, it's just not very good. It just doesn't work for whatever reason. It's just not, I don't know, particularly good. But what are you gonna do? Nothing. Not everything can be awesome.
Nope. It's whenever you see something that's awesome, it makes it that much better when you're just like, okay, this is really good, and you focus in and just enjoy it. And we've talked about it. I don't even know if we talked about it on the last episode. I've now watched probably 3 times Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and every time I watch it, I get more out of it. I enjoy it more. Sounds off He's running. Oh, you got something. It's that.
The vinyl.
It's nice.
I love that movie. I love this movie. It's my well.
Here, you have to hold it up. You have to hold it up in front of you, or it'll blur. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Nice.
Double. Yeah, it's a double orange vinyl. It's like, or they call it tangerine. It's like.
Of course they do.
Yeah, it's Quentin Tarantino does. He's always put together phenomenal soundtracks for his films. But yeah, this movie, I don't know why. Like, I guess I understand. Not everybody loved this movie, even Tarantino fans, because it's kind of a departure, I think, for him to some degree. But man, as far as like him showing off his complete repertoire of skills, I don't think anything comes close that he's done to this. Yeah, I don't know. I love it.
Yep. Yeah. I each time I watch, it's one of those movies that it's like, okay, I'll turn it off whenever I get to a scene that I don't like.
Right.
And then you're like 2 hours later. Well, shit. Okay. I guess I'll just finish it, because every scene in that movie was something that I enjoyed. And it's like these different slices of a perfect pie. It's like each scene in that movie was complete, unto itself and completely enjoyable, from the acting scene with Timothy Oliphant. I know that's one of your favorite scenes.
Yeah.
The scene out on the ranch is just movie making, like, at its finest. The tension that is built up in that. It's,
for sure.
Yeah,
and the brilliance of like not really ever showing Charles Manson. You know what I mean? Like they show him in the two scenes that he's barely
Dewey Crow.
Yeah,
Dewey Crow.
Dewey Crow, right? But
yeah, he's on screen for what, 15 seconds?
Right. And I think that's such a brilliant thing, because it's like nobody needs, anyone that knows the story already knows everything you need to know about Charles Manson, and more than anyone needs to know about Charles Manson. But yeah, there's so many things you could kind of go into on that film, and just his sort of revisionist history and sort of taking something which is dear to his heart, that era of Hollywood. And, people are interested in it. He did a great interview. It was actually a 2-part interview with a podcast. I wish I could remember the name of the podcast, but I can't. But I'm sure if you search for it, you'll find it.
Mm-hmm.
But he did this 2-part interview with these guys. The only downside to the interview whatsoever is they're very fanboyish. So they don't do the best job of interviewing him, but it's Tarantino. You don't have to do that much. He'll just talk. But he goes
just wind him up and let him go.
Yeah. He goes into why he made the movie and the idea of sort of retelling that piece of history. And it's really interesting. I'm not going to, go into it because it's not my story to tell, but it's really interesting, sort of like his thought process of why he wanted to make the movie and what it meant to him and that kind of thing. And he gets into a ton of different details about the film and all sorts of other stuff too. It's a great 2-part interview. And you can tell he enjoys talking to the guys because they are fans. And I think, if nothing else, Quentin Tarantino is a huge movie fan. So I think he kind of feels comfortable around those guys. But that movie I felt like it was a love letter to a lot of different things. I mean, certainly Sharon Tate. He had such a love for that actress, and I mean, it's basically his alternate reality. I don't want to spoilers. It's his alternate reality if Sharon Tate and her friends survive. But it's also a love letter to 1969 L.A. And one of my favorite scenes was as the sun is setting on the night that would be the massacre in the Hollywood Hills. It's probably about 45 seconds of going to all of these different LA landmarks and the neon lights
turning on.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that people that grew up in that area and have memories of a lot of those spots would be like, oh, that spot, or oh, that's my favorite hot dog was there, or that's where I would hang out on Friday nights with my friends, and I'm just all of those different neon lit landmarks as the sun is going down and the city is kind of coming to life for the night, which would be an infamous night. I love that scene. I thought that was just so well.
I didn't really think about it until afterwards, and I went back and I was rereading Helter Skelter, kind of after I'd seen the movie and loved it so much that I knew I was gonna go see it again and again. I ended up seeing it 3 times in theaters, almost 4. I was pissed because right before
Stupid
the whole
coronavirus.
Yeah, I had tickets to go see a 70mm print of it at the Music Box, and then they canceled that. So, but one of the really interesting things is like his, the idea of if that event didn't happen, like what would that have changed in the 70s? Because that was like, I mean, that event sort of destroyed any kind of hippie culture movement in California, and kind of in the country. That single event really tore, that sort of movement apart.
Hippies weren't loving, docile, peace loving people anymore. No. They were fringe cultist weirdos. It destroyed hippie culture in one fell swoop, for what it was.
Talk about it like, before that happened, if you lived in that area, if you lived in California at that time, it was like if you go back to the book, there's some interesting parts of the book, Helter Skelter, where like, the reason Manson went to that house was because he used to hang out with a guy that lived there, that lived in the back. But, and it was a very common thing to like just sort of crash at someone's house. And it was like people didn't lock their doors. And if someone just like showed up at your house, even if you didn't really know them that well, like it was just sort of that culture. It was such a free sort of open society culture that it was very common. And then, obviously after that,
not so much.
That was gone. Yeah. And so it's interesting to like think how would the world be different if that single event didn't happen, if that didn't take over,
Yeah, and even within the movie itself, you saw Rick Dalton recaptures his he gets his groove back. He recaptures his confidence, and then this crazy event happens, and now he's friends with the wife of, at the time, probably the most influential director in Hollywood.
Right.
So even within that movie, and I think that's what, it pans out and it leaves you with, well, now Rick is going to be a huge star because, that's where this path has led him, even though Cliff did all the hard work.
Well, and it's also a statement. I mean,
and the dog. Well, dog was the goddamn hero.
Cliff carried the water. But it's if you look at it a little deeper, it's a statement. I mean, Rick is, that 1950s idealism, kind of conservative idealism, clashing with the 1960s free love, sex, drugs movement. Hippie
goddamn hippies.
Right. I mean that's that story right there. Is like he's a man who is watching him be passed, his generation being passed by and taken over by a new generation. He doesn't understand, he doesn't know how to deal with that, and he's trying to hold on to that. And that's that's speaking to something much larger than just Rick Dalton or any one actor, you know what I mean? So then, like, it's sort of at the end when he has figured out how to be relevant and still, and how to change, how to evolve, because that's what he did. You know what I mean? Like, he was able to evolve as an actor. And then, like you said, you see him at the end, and it's like, well, where do they go from there? And is it a different type of world, as opposed to like you know everyone pulling back, and maybe we were then in the 70s. I don't know. I don't think things became stagnant necessarily, not until the 80s, but I think you see a sort of a statement on like how would things be different if that hadn't happened. But
that one event.
And I still think it's a fucking shame that Leonardo DiCaprio did not win an Academy Award for that scene alone with in the you know.
I still feel like Brad Pitt owns that movie, though.
Brad Pitt's great, but man, I'm telling you, that one scene where he goes from sort of, you know,
the bumbling
actor to falling apart because he fucked up his line, that there aren't very many actors, I don't think, that could have pulled that off as well as he did. I mean, it's so good. He killed it. And then one of the funniest lines in a fucking movie, I still think, is when he gets pissed off at himself and he's yelling at himself in the trailer and throwing shit around. He's like, 9 fucking tequila sunrises? He just doesn't like, it's like, you couldn't just have one? You had to have 9? He's yelling at
goddamn whiskey sours.
Or whiskey sours.
And he's like, that's it. I'm not drinking no more.
9 fucking whiskey sours? Later,
he picks up the flask and takes a drink. He's goddamn! Throws it out the trailer window. Yeah, it was fantastic. I'm gonna switch gears on us real quick, and it's a real quick plug.
Oh wow!
It is not comics, but very much comic related. While we are all quarantining and social distancing, a lot of people playing board games, a lot of people both online and at home. This board game will not be shipped until probably early next year, but the Kickstarter on it is coming up, and I wanted to definitely throw a plug at it. It's the Mind Management board game, the psychic espionage game. Have you read Mind Management?
No.
Let me grab.
I know of it, but I did not read it.
You would really like it.
You always say that.
You like map stuff. You like map.
I like.
You know how I like.
Oh God.
So this is volume 1 of Mind Management by Matt Kent, who we've.
I think I have that, but I haven't ever read it.
It's awesome. It's a great story. I think it was 5 volumes, 5 of the deluxe volumes. Neat story about basically secret agents with psychic powers and shadow organizations out to kill them and take them out, and big conspiracies and all that, with the beautiful Matt Kent art all along the way. But there is a board game on Kickstarter. Matt does all of the art. It is... I'm not even going to say who designs it because I'll get their names wrong. But just go to Kickstarter, check out the Mind Management board game. And I think there's a day as of April or as of March 31st. I think there's maybe 2 days left.
My chiropractor has told me that I tilt my head to the right. And I keep noticing now as I stare into my own eyes.
So I don't know what... We definitely do have faces for radio, so I apologize to everyone out there.
There's a poll on the Facebook page, who's uglier, me or you? So we'll see what people think.
I know how that's...
Or if we're both disgust people. That was the third answer, so probably that.
So there we go. Some movie talk, some... Margot Robbie. You got to talk about Margot Robbie. And we had texted yesterday... who played
that terrible fucking movie?
What?
Birds of Prey?
Oh, it's half of a really good movie.
No, it's bad.
I really like the first. I really like them, but she's great. She's great as Harley, and she's great Sharon Tate. So, full shout out to Robbie.
Yeah, I didn't care.
I later. but you kind of got to love the Harley character. I mean, she's really good as Harley.
I think she was really good as Harley in Suicide Squad, and then they fucking made her a kind of joke in this movie. But
yeah, okay.
I don't know. I was gonna say clown, but I think that was a little too much on the.
That's kind of the point.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. All right. So what have you been reading, you big jerk?
Oh, sorry. Jeez. I don't know. What am I reading? I've been reading, as usual, The Immortal Hulk, my favorite comic book on the stands. It's like the only thing I read on a consistent basis. But
Is it still good?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love that book. It's so weird and bizarre, but I haven't enjoyed a Hulk story this much since like Joe Fixit or something, or Planet Hulk.
Wow,
Planet Hulk, obviously,
Planet
very
Hulk,
good, yeah. But I really, really like it. I mean, if you're a diehard Hulk fan, you may not enjoy it. But if you can kind of let go of any preconceived notions of what the Hulk is and just sort of go with it, it's a really it's funny. I remember back when the whole what was that thing Marvel did? It was kind of an event, but it was like they did it was for their 100 years, I think. It was like 100 stories. And then I remember people complaining because
it was what?
It was like their 100-year anniversary. I guess it wouldn't have been 100 year, right?
It'd be 75
years. So it was like, I think it was for that. And they were doing like 75 stories or something. And people were complaining because like Al Ewing apparently was writing too many. People didn't, they wanted more diversity and of course in everything. So they were like complaining, like, why is this guy writing so many stories? And then I read Immortal Hulk. I'm like, well, because he's really fucking good. Like he's a really
he's good.
Yeah, he's really good writer. I mean, he's I don't know where the hell he came from. I never heard of the guy. He has a name like Al Ewing. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Ewing. It's Ewing. So I'm assuming it's
okay. Ewing.
That name seems like he's from the 1950s. Doesn't it sound like Al Ewing? He was writing. He was doing like Golden Age fucking comics or something. But he's really good writer. So yeah, I'm still reading that.
I love the first volume. Got to circle back around to it.
I've been reading the New Mutants. The new Mutants. Well, I've been reading half of it because. Well, let me explain. Hold on, give me a second. It like, and I kind of like the idea that it does this, but so there's two groups of New Mutants. One of them, at least as the book opens, one of them goes off into space, and one of them is back home. And so the book kind of flips back and forth. It does like 3 or 4 issues of the one group, and then 3 or 4 issues, or actually, I think it's less than that. I think it goes issue by issue. So I only really like the one that's in space because I really like the art. It kind of has a Bill Sienkiewicz feel to it. And nice. the one at home I don't really care so much. And the one in the group in space is the original New Mutants. So it's Bobby and Danny and
Cannonball and
and they go off with the Starjammers to actually and Rain.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, they go off with the Starjammers. Into space,
fucking the original New Mutants and Starjammers.
Exactly, and it has like a Bill Sienkiewicz look to it, like the art.
Oh, nice.
So they go off into space to to bring Cannonball home to Krakoa.
Okay.
I don't know if you are up to date at all on like the whole X-Men universe.
I need to.
It's definitely.
I'm halfway through the House of M hardcover, so
that's really good, don't you think? I really enjoyed that.
Right now I love at this point I love the Moria McTaggart story. I thought was one of the neatest little spins on X-Men lore that I had read in a long. And I haven't read the X-Men in a long time, so I'm just kind of savoring it. That's when I pick up.
You're marinating in it.
I'm marinating in the House of X and all that stuff. So yeah, I don't figure there's a big rush. So
yeah,
Hickman, it's still I run really hot and cold with him.
Me too. Absolutely. I'm more cold than I am hot. And
like East to West, one of the best comics I've ever
really
read.
I gotta go back.
I
and
love
read
East
that.
to West.
I started it, but I got so confused with it.
Yeah.
That I put it down. I gotta go back and that's my biggest problem with Hickman. I think he's too smart for me. Like I don't.
Sometimes.
You know what I mean?
My biggest problem.
My biggest
problem is that he'll tell and not show. There'll be. Yeah. I think it's.
Cardinal sin.
It sounds clever sometimes, but I think there's huge events that'll be like, and yesterday there was a gigantic battle with, so-and-so and blah, blah, blah. And that's what happened. And it's like, well, I would have wanted to see that. That sounds cool.
Yeah, it is a problem with all of his books. He tends to have like these big, written pieces where he has to explain this crazy world that he's invented for these characters to be in, and I think sometimes it's like a detriment. Like I don't necessarily want to delve into the whole history of this universe that you're telling the story. Mm-hmm. Just tell me the fucking story. I don't even know if it's necessary sometimes to really do that. Even with like House of M, the whole code thing. I'm like, listen, I'm not learning like code breaking skills to read your fucking comic book. I'm sorry. Just tell me just tell me an X-Men story. I don't need to fucking learn a new language just so I can.
It's like, is there going to be a quiz on Friday?
Yeah, I'm too fucking lazy, man. I mean, I appreciate the effort that he puts into shit because it's amazing sometimes the kind of things
we are old.
Yeah.
Whenever I lay down and I'm reading a comic, in the back of my mind is like, all right, you have exactly 26 minutes.
I'm like, okay, am I reading an X-Men comic or am I trying to find the Zodiac killer? Like, what am I doing here exactly? Code breaking? Am I hunting Nazis with this fucking comic book? Just give me an X-Men story. Let Wolverine slash somebody and fucking I-beams and some weather shit.
But there's stuff that he has written that I absolutely adore, and it's hard for me to binge Hickman books, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
For the reasons, yeah, it's like that's why I read them in chunks. Speaking of chunks, did you pick up this little guy? This is the.
What is that?
It's the Robin 80th anniversary 100-page super spectacular.
Oh, fancy!
It's in the. Because I'm old, sometimes I just want a small chunk of story. I've been loving these 100-page giants. Have you gotten any of these?
I have read a few of them.
It's perfect bathroom reading, is how I would describe a lot of it. But the Robin one that just came out, it has a story for each Robin, starting with Dick Grayson and going all the way to Damian. And
that's cool.
And every Robin in between, with kind of like a story that really kind of helps define that character. I mean, the Jason Todd one is a Red Hood story. There's actually a couple different Dick Grayson stories because they do Agent 37? Is that what his moniker was whenever he was
remember.
Tim and Tom's run. But yeah, it's got him as the secret agent. So there's a Robin story, a Nightwing story, and then a Agent 37 story with Dick Grayson. And then you get Tim Drake, and yeah, it's Jason Todd. Who was Oh, the gal who was spoiler. What was her name? Um, Stephanie Brown.
Yeah.
So the Stephanie Brown story but yeah, and they're all different. Art's different. Storytelling is obviously quick. They're all like 8-page little mini stories. Worth the $10. I really enjoyed it.
Cool. I'm trying to. Sorry if I'm a little distracted. I'm trying to figure out. Someone on the video chat just said they're having a hard time hearing us, and I think maybe I fucked up the sound or something. Like we're not actually. Nobody. They can see us.
So all they
just
gotta
can't
do
hear
is watch. That is the like 6th ring of hell right there.
Right. Who the fuck? Nobody wants to watch us, but
yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out as we speak. So if you can fill in as I sit here and try and figure this out.
Okay, I'll go on to one. I'm kind of blowing my wand here, but next thing that I picked up in the last month was the David Bowie Stardust Ray Guns and Moon Age Daydreams. I picked that up too. Isn't it beautiful?
It is beautiful. The one problem I had with it is it's just so like straightforward of a story. You know what I mean? Like,
isn't it beautiful?
It is. Yes, it is beautiful, Chris. I agree.
Gorgeous?
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's like,
I mean, this is not Hickman writing on this one. This is very straightforward biography of David Bowie with absolutely beautiful all-red art.
Sorry, I'm still trying to figure out our sound. I don't think we're getting any sound.
That's
into
terrible.
Our audio input capture. Let's try this. Maybe this will work.
That was my white whale art wise, is that I always wanted a Mike Allred piece of original art, and by the time I was getting around to it, the original art market got a little crazy, and Mike Allred stuff's really expensive, and I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. Well, that's. I think we got sound now. Just so you know.
You have sound?
Yeah, I believe so. Yep, I think we have sound. We'll find out. Anyway, sorry.
Okay.
Didn't.
I look old and angry on this thing.
Well, you are.
We're
both old, angry. Well, I've always been angry.
Could be. But the Bowie book is really, it's, if you're a Bowie fan, get it. Obviously, if you're a Mike Allred fan, get it. Obviously, nice to look at.
It was very nice to look at. It's beautiful. I mean, obviously, he's awesome, and
Laura Allred's awesome as well.
Doesn't is his kid now doing stuff too? On that book, did he have a? I thought there was like a something.
Steve Horton
lettering. Was he doing lettering?
Well, let me see here. Han Allred did color assists.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so you know what a color assist would be? That would be a flatter.
Oh, how could you? How could you be so cool?
He's flatting. That's a flatter. All right.
I'm sorry. I'm still trying to fix this.
Do I have to talk about another 100-page giant?
No. Yeah, if you want. I mean, I don't really have anything else. I'm trying to think of anything else that I'm reading. Have you been reading Jimmy Olsen still? I know we both talked about that a while back.
I have them stacked up.
Oh,
I've got a big meaty pile of Jimmy Olsen to read, and if only I had to stay in my house for like 6 weeks, I could probably get to them.
Yeah, if only.
But yeah, are you reading it?
I'm probably back. I'm probably like around three back, but
That's what fucking Matt Fraction should be writing, because
for
he's
sure. It's
really
perfect.
good at that.
Yeah, it's perfect. The smart alecky kind of funny, not too serious.
Yep. It's Fraction doing what Fraction does really well.
What do you think of Diamond basically closing its doors? It's just not to switch gears to.
I don't want to get into too much like disease talk or business talk.
Disease talk.
Disease talk.
You're listening to Disease Talk. It's our new podcast.
It would run up the charts. I think it's going to be really hard for a lot of retailers to bounce back from this. I think there's going to be a lot of shops that were kind of hanging on just because, almost out of habit. And I think this will be the thing that kind of pushes them over the edge.
Right.
I think the good shops will stick around. It's like, I don't worry about a shop like Challengers in Chicago, or even Dark Tower. Graham Crackers is still going to be around. Everybody knows, like, it's like Midtown Comics is not going to close up shop. But I think it's going to be a lot of those fringe stores, that the ones that cater to Marvel and DC, and we've all been into those shops that's what they sell. I think they're going to have a real hard time bouncing back from this. I know there's been rumors out there that Diamond may actually be up for sale. So maybe in the long term, maybe it's a good thing. I mean, we've always talked about the single distributor model for the specialty comics market as not being real healthy. And so maybe this is what finally changes that. Even though, I mean, we as we'll just, say it, the traditional comic book fan that grew up going to the local comic shop, we kind of miss the other world of comics that's going on right now, which, there are a lot of comics that we don't read that are being sold out there. So I think comics, let me wrap it up. Comics will be fine. Okay. There's always going to be comic books. I think that the niche specialty comic retailer is going to have a real hard time coming back from this.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen with Diamond necessarily. But it does open maybe an opportunity. If I had any money, I would go out there and maybe
start up a comic book distributor.
Yeah, it'd be a good time.
Yeah.
It'd be a good time to do that if that was possible. But
I would think the only way that you would maybe lose money quicker would be like buying a racehorse.
Well, my fear is that like does Marvel and DC, do they sort of do they figure out that they don't
that they're not each other's competition?
No, that they're not, that they don't need
brick and mortar.
Yeah, brick and mortar anymore. Is that I don't know. It's a weird thing, but that would be sort of a scary idea if they figured that out. That for a lot of stores, and we've talked about that before, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's scary because it just changes the culture. I mean, this show, whenever we were really running with it, it was at its best when we were recording in a comic shop with comic book fans and creators, and that culture for us anyway, in our generation, it's really important. The go to the comic shop and talk to the friends that you make at the shop whenever you pick up your new books. That's a big part of the culture for us. That doesn't mean that culture can't or won't change and be something else. Like I said, comics will be fine. there will always be comics out there in one way or another, as long as people still want to graphically tell stories. So comics will change and evolve and be whatever they're going to be. It's like when Tower Records went bankrupt. Did that mean that there wasn't music anymore?
When
no, it just changed the industry.
The day the music died.
So, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I agree. Comics in some form or another will always be there. It's just, what is this? What are the repercussions from this? But I mean, we can say that about every industry, right? I mean, who knows? There's
going to be a lot of niche markets out there that are going to be, what is this going to do to, I was going to say microbrews, but I think most of the alcohol producers are going to be doing okay through this.
It's an essential. It is an essential.
It is.
Alcohol.
Yeah. They underline that here in Wisconsin. No, liquor stores open.
Delivery.
Well,
that was
curbside pickup.
I got a text, alert from my local government, and it was about their sort of quarantine things that they were putting into effect, and it was essentially all it was that liquor stores could deliver now. That was like the only thing in it. I'm like, that's your plan? That's the only plan you have? Village?
It's an important plan. It's an important part.
I'm not saying it's not an important
that and get your absentee ballot figured out. So I had this was the last day to register for absentee voting in Wisconsin. So I made sure to do that and go to the liquor store.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's weird. It's definitely weird.
But it's I don't want to keep sounding like the old stodgy guy, but we've been through this before. You and I have been through this twice. We went through 9/11,
the Spanish flu.
You went through the Spanish flu. I was born a couple years later. But no, we've been through 9/11, and we went through the 2007, 2008 financial crisis. They're all different, but we've been through this kind of crap before, and we'll work our way through it, and things will be, there will be a before coronavirus and after coronavirus, for a lot of people, right. But it's a lot of people say they want to live in interesting times until shit gets interesting. Okay.
Really fucking interesting. It's definitely interesting. I don't know. I have no idea.
I've been reading a trilogy of books. It's the Ken Follett Century trilogy, and it starts a year before World War One. And the first book is basically right before World War One to probably 2 years after World War One. Then the second book is like 1933 to 1951, and then so library's fucking closed, so I can't go get the third one right now. But
Hoopla.
Yeah, I was gonna get the audiobook, but
they have them on Hoopla.
Oh yeah. But reading through this, it's like, things are weird and awful until you start reading about like Germany in like 1931, and then it's like, oh, okay, or Russia during the Bolshevik Revolution. Humanity has gone through worse than this. We'll be fine.
Well, let's be honest. We need to get rid of some old people anyway. It's hard. It's a tough choice, but our economy has to grow, and if we have to sacrifice grandma and grandpa, throw them into the old.
Don't let the cure be worse than the disease.
We can't.
An asshole.
You know what though? There is some. Reality check. There is some truth to that. At some point, it's like, well, do we just let the entire country collapse because no one's going to work?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then makes sense until it's like your mom and dad, so.
Well, mine are gone already, so I don't have to worry about that. I don't have any grandparents or parents, so you people are enjoying your parents and grandparents. I feel bad for you, but sorry. I need my 401k to bounce back, motherfuckers.
Yeah, just be lucky that you're not that, or that you are pretty far away from retirement. You'll be fine. Speaking of retirement.
Yes. By the way, I think our audio is finally 53 minutes in. I think our audio is finally working correctly now on the live stream. So
can you hear us?
Can you hear us now?
Watson, can you hear me?
I don't know if anyone's watching other than you. I think you and I are the only we're ourselves.
Two people. And Brent's going over. Hey, Brent.
Is he there?
Have you? I'm holding up the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, The Tempest, which is the fourth and final volume of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen by Alan Moore and Kevin O'Neill.
Yes.
And Todd Klein. Have you read this yet?
Yes, I have, actually.
I have not. Don't spoil it.
Oh, I won't.
No, but I will ask, is it everything that I need it to be?
Well, that's a difficult answer for me. I don't know what you need.
Was it a good way for them to not only wrap up League, but to, according to them, wrap up their careers?
I would say it is not sufficient for me for Alan Moore to end his career on. No, it was good, and I think it's a good ending. Yes, it's a good ending to the League because it left me wanting more League. But I don't know if it's necessarily, the magnum opus that I would want them to end on. But it is very good. I mean, it's, all the League stuff is very good. Those guys are in such a rhythm at this point that it's, it's a kind of a joy to read anything that they put out. I can't answer that question really in that context, just because I'll never believe that Alan Moore is going to stop writing comics. Because he's
I know.
And two, I hope he doesn't. I hope that's this.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Please lie.
Yeah.
Lie to me, Alan.
Lie to me, make me feel better.
Lie to me. But I'm looking forward to that. That's I think that's probably going to be one of the weekend. Well, I was going to say it's a weekend read, but what's a weekend anymore, right?
It's all one long vacation, permanent vacation, baby. We're all
when my dad retired, it's like, so Dad, how you liking retirement? He says, son, every day is Saturday. That sounds delightful.
That sounds great if it's sunny and you can go outside and do stuff. But when you're locked in your house,
fucking 38 degrees and raining today.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Love Milwaukee in springtime.
It was not pleasant. No baseball. We got no baseball to watch. You've been
going back and watching like old baseball games, and I feel bad for you. I mean, the Cardinals were going to be good this year, will be good this year. I was probably as excited about the White Sox as I was about the Cardinals. I'm really looking forward to watching that team play.
Yeah, they should. I mean, I still don't think they have enough pitching, but when do you ever have enough pitching?
Getting close.
Yeah.
They're getting close.
They're getting close, and they're going to mash the ball. But yeah, who knows? When are we even going to have? Are we going to have
July 1? That's my hope. It's my hope. It's my dream.
This is such a weird. Everything's so weird.
Oh, Bucks fans are pissed. Bucks fans are pissed because it ain't going to happen. And they were the team. They were the team this year.
My son's favorite player.
Oh, Giannis?
Yeah, it's his favorite player.
He's a bad man.
He is.
Yeah. He's actually a very likable player as well.
He's Greek.
He is kind of, yes.
Kind of Greek.
Kind of Greek. Yeah. We'll say, yeah, sure.
It's all Greek to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's been I've been going back and watching some old games. May have watched a little bit of the 2006 2011 World Series this week, maybe just a little bit.
They did. Mark Burley's birthday was the other day, and they were showing.
No, they did the perfect game.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I was at that game.
I know you were. Yeah, I wasn't
at that game.
I
know.
I wasn't.
I know.
Yeah.
I was at that game.
I should have been.
Why didn't you go to that?
My wife and children were coming home from Florida that day, and I had to pick them up from.
Oh, that's right.
I was literally driving back from O'Hare, listening to I was probably the 6th, 7th inning, and then I got home just in time to watch the 9th inning.
Oh, and the Jermaine Dye's catch.
Yeah, no.
Is that Jermaine Dye?
No.
Is it Dye? No.
What was his name? The center fielder. They had just switched him in the top. In the top of the 9th. There, they switched him in. What the hell was his name? He was a bench player guy, and he made that Wise.
Yeah. Dwayne Wise.
Dwayne Wise. He made that center field catch, that unbelievable catch, to save the game.
It's a great game.
No hitter. Yeah, terrific stuff.
I was on the third base line.
I know.
Level.
Yeah, I know. and how much did you get for the ticket? For the ticket that I didn't take, how much did you sell it for?
Oh, half face value, I think.
You son of a.
Well, I mean, you didn't walk up. It was like a Tuesday afternoon. It's just like nobody knew.
Was it? I thought it was a weekend. I thought it was a Saturday game.
No, it was because we left
home.
Picking up your family in Florida. Yeah, because I left work to go. I was like, screw that.
God damn it. Oh, well, I'm sure I'll get another chance to see my favorite player throw a perfect game again someday, right? In my lifetime? That'll happen? No?
Sure. Hey, man, it's
possible.
It's on video. It's on video.
You're saying there's a chance.
So you're saying I got a chance. We watched that the other night, too. All right, so I gotta say, because we're gonna record again this week.
Are we?
Brave Souls, yes. I think Thursday, yes.
Sure, we can do that.
I
mean, maybe
we're gonna be joined by Mr. Caters.
We do have the audio kind of figured out, so.
So will this go? This is because I have no idea what's going on. Will this go out as an audio show as well, or is this just?
Yes, I've recorded it as an audio.
Ah, okay.
So we have all the audio from the very beginning, not just the half.
The video only video.
Yeah. Did you change something on your end on audio?
No.
Now I'm not getting your audio for some reason. What the fuck? This is so weird.
Hello. Yep.
I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore, Chris. Nothing seems to work.
I don't know. It's okay. It's good dry run.
Yeah, terrific. We're
it was Solar Round Comics.
It was very much so. Fucked up and not quite there. We've only been doing podcasts for forever.
14 years.
Is that long, really? Jesus.
Yeah, like 2006, dude. I mean, there was a long gap there, so it's like 4 years off. So.
What the fuck? Yeah. Now all of a sudden I'm not getting your audio. I mean, I can hear you, but I'm not getting the audio in the video stream. I don't know what's going on.
I did not change anything.
That's so weird. Oh, whatever.
Nope.
We tried.
Right.
We tried. We have the audio. So yeah, we have the audio. I'll release that as a podcast, as a regular audio podcast. And we can go from there. And then, I don't know when you want to try and get together again this week. And
I think we're Thursday night with Tom.
That works for me.
Yeah. You have homework to do?
Yes, I do. I have to read a book.
We have a book of the season, I'll call it. Little Bird.
Season of the when was the last time we talked about
I think it's 5 fucking issues. Read it. I think we talked about it in December, that we were going to talk about it in January.
Oh,
or maybe
well, we can talk about this then, but there is. I did start reading a couple of things over the past week. I read the first volume of Why the Last Man. I thought that was
good. I was thinking about that. I was like, look, should I reread? I'm just like, Why the Last Man would be a really good one right now.
And then I reread volume 1 of Walking Dead, but
get your apocalypse on.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the Walking Dead just didn't do it for me anymore. I just Why the Last Man was still very good. It held up. I didn't remember much of it anymore, so it was like reading it for the first time again. You know, we've talked about that. Or getting old syndrome just allows you to reread shit, and it was like I never read it.
Me. Yep. But, no, I need to. That may be the last comic that made me fucking cry.
Why the Last Man?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those last like 3 issues were. I was just like, motherfuckers, why are you, God damn you making me cry, Brian K. Vaughan.
Have you read Paper Girls?
So I'm waiting for the 3rd deluxe edition to come out. So I picked up the first trade, and I was like, this is really good. And at that point, the 2 deluxe editions were already out. I'm like, this is something I love Cliff Chang's art. And it's like, that's one that I'll read in the deluxe hardcovers. I still haven't seen a release date for the 3rd deluxe hardcover.
Oh, okay.
Even the series has been wrapped up for 4 or 5 months now.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I loved it, but I have not read the last, however many 12 issues or whatever it is.
Okay. Well, we can talk about
I'm going to cry like a little girl, aren't I?
Probably.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Okay. Yeah. I love the series. Yeah. Once again, if you want to contact the show, you can do so by emailing us at info@aroundcomics.com.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
We're on the Twitters and the Facebooks and the Instagrams. And are we on TikTok yet?
No, we are not on. We will never be on TikTok unless my son joins us, and maybe then he'll put us on TikTok.
Yeah, so we would love to hear from you, hear how you're doing through the COVID-19 stay-at-home and quarantines and all that. Let us know what you've been reading. Let us know what you've been rereading. We'd love to hear about it. And everyone, stay safe out there. Observe your social distancing, all of that good stuff. Stay healthy, stay happy, and we'll be back again in probably a week or so. Probably release this. In the meantime,
in between time,
we'll be everywhere in
and around
comics.